The Spin-off Podcast Network.
This is Kiwi is back for a brand new season with more inspiring kōrero from special guests including rugby player, father and role model TJ Perenara.
My family bring me joy. Rugby brings me joy too, but it's not the same joy as my family brings me.
And global dancer and choreographer Kirsten Dodgen.
For some reason, people think I'm very intimidating.
Listen to the new season of This is Kiwi, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in collaboration with KiwiBank. Available now wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you find it hard staying optimistic with all the financial news in the media? I'm Bernard Hickey, and on my podcast, When the Facts Change, I'm here to help you navigate the ever-changing landscape of economics in Aotearoa. So join the conversation every Friday on When the Facts Change, brought to you by the Spin-off Podcast Network in partnership with KiwiBank.
It's my favourite time of the week, the Fantasy Suite. Here we are. I'm excited. I'm so excited. My name's Jane Yee, and joining me in the Fantasy Suite, Alex Casey and Duncan Greive from thespinoff.co.nz. Hello, guys.
Hey.
Hey.
Are you comfy?
Moderately.
Extremely.
Settle in on the edge of your seat. It's going to be an exciting chat tonight. This podcast is brought to you by thespinoff.co.nz. You can also find The Spinoff on facebook.com/The Spinoff TV. We're also all on Twitter where our hashtag TFSpod is, as the kids would say, going off. Kids don't say that, do they?
Yeah, it's fine.
They've never said that, have they? Sorry.
Maybe when we were kids, but that was a long time ago.
It was a long time ago. Okay, so our hashtag is hashtag TFSpod, and there's lots of conversation going on, so I definitely invite you to take part and join in the chat on Twitter. And
let's do it.
Let's do it. We just have to,
launch
first
on
of all, before we launch, and we have to just hat tip Lindau for our lovely tipple this week.
It's very rare.
It's vintage.
It's vintage. It's their 30th anniversary edition of Lindau Special Reserve.
No, it's not special reserve.
Is it not? I can't see from here.
It's Brut Cuvée.
Sorry. Brut Cuvée.
It's lovely and golden.
We should point out that we're hat tipping to them, but we're still waiting. We're still dry on the sponsorship front.
We are. This is actually a bottle from 4 years ago that I received for doing a special 30th birthday blog for Lindau, and I've held on to it all that time for such an occasion as this.
Feels good.
And
Feels good to have drained it.
Feels good, but apparently you're not supposed to hold onto your Lindy for quite that long. Just FYI.
I think it's
I
so
think
as
it was
well.
delicious.
Yeah.
I think it just gets better with age.
I think if you have Lindau in the cupboard, you should drink it. Or the fridge. Put it in the fridge, then drink it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it's so delicious. I mean, who could resist?
Anyway, let's roll into the batch this week. The week that I have titled on my notes here, The Week of Yum Food. But I think I got ahead of myself on Tuesday. There was a lot of yummy food in Tuesday's episode.
I wrote that in capital letters as well.
Did you?
I wrote, "High tea is so yum."
I think you and me and Matilda would get on very well.
Yeah.
We would be in those ribs.
Yeah, I would like to go to high tea with Matilda. It would probably be the best. Because also I'm getting ahead of myself, but she eats all the scones, and I don't really like the scones very much. Quite a stodgy addition to a high tea.
Was she eating scones?
Yeah, she
She's in
was.
them.
Yeah.
I literally have no memory of this. You guys watch the same show completely differently.
Anytime there's food, it's just like, I see nothing else.
Out. It's like censored the entire screen apart from the scone.
I want to ask you a question on that topic. I know we haven't even started and I'm already
Sorry.
diverting. But when you watch, do you watch the girls and think of yourself as a bachelorette in the house, or do you watch as like an observer? Like, for example, do you like people based on whether or not you'd get on with them or whether or not they're good for art?
I watched it kind of almost like sports, I feel like. I just want to see who's winning.
Yeah.
And
So you're all
who's
about
waxing, who's waning.
who's best for art. That's what you're about.
No, not who's best for art, but who I think is going to win, who's going to confuse art using their feminine wiles into like picking them last or first or whatever it is. I can think about who I'd like or who I think art might like.
Yeah.
Or, you know, who would be best for art, but that's like a separate train of thought that I
Right.
never engage willingly.
Okay.
I'm just looking for who's going to be my friend.
Yeah. Me too. I kind of look at like who I would go out with.
Sounds sad.
Thank goodness we've got each other, Alex. Once we get to the end of the podcast, I think tonight we have to start making some calls on who we think is going to take us out.
And we can find out who you'd go out with, but who you'd be if you were one of them. But that's coming up later on. The quiz results.
That will make much more sense when we get there. Okay.
Not necessarily.
Tuesday's
Linda's kicking in.
Tuesday's episode started with some beach stretches and some water gazing as the exercise of the week for Arthur. Not too active this week.
No, nothing too strenuous. But I did notice he was sort of standing on the beach in a bit of a flamingo pose with, like, kind of holding one. I'm demonstrating. Why am I doing it? It's a podcast.
That's a stretch.
Yeah, but he did it for ages. But his arm was so big. Oh. It was like, I got a grab of it. You can see it on the power rankings going up tomorrow morning on the spinoff.co.nz. But his arm had bulged almost as wide. It was like thick as his body. It was crazy.
Well, we found out in this episode that he has always been very sporty and active. But we'll get to that. We have basically a resume of his childhood coming up to discuss. But we start off things in the Bay of Plenty. Mike arrives with the envelope of love, as someone referred to it as. Mike, maybe? Did Mike call it the envelope of love?
Almost definitely.
And there was a one-on-one date in there for Alicia off to White Island.
White Island would also be a good reality show. Based on like the rest of the show, like they just keep eliminating people of colour, and right now that's what we've got left.
You're freaking out because Batch is like, we can see the finish line, and you don't know what you're going to do with. And now you're trying to create new weird TV shows.
I like it. You
New
could have
racist TV shows.
You could have like Black Doris Redemption Island.
Yeah. That's just off the coast.
Yeah.
Anyway, Matilda says that Alicia, maybe Art just wants a Pash. That's why he's chosen Alicia. Because, she, back in the Vines, she was like, well, if you give me a second date, I'll give you a kissy kiss. And so maybe, Art's all about the pashing now.
Yeah, that's all it takes, yeah.
And I for one, am all in favour of his being all about the pashing. Like, it got, last week was pretty bone dry on that front.
Yeah.
Yeah, well.
Now he's
broken the seal.
Yes, he has.
And once you start, you're going to have to go through everybody, right? Because you're going to have to compare,
He's quite
contrast.
a diplomatic guy. I feel like the kissing is not so much about about him sizing up everyone. It's just making things even, just levelling the playing field.
Yes, agree.
Okay. Now, Alicia has an issue with small aircraft, so of course he takes her on a helicopter ride.
Yeah.
Now, you nearly applied for The Bachelor, Alex.
Yes.
You went through the motions. Was there a bit
Don't
in
laugh.
there? Was there a question that asked you about your fears?
Yes, there was.
Okay. Note to all potential bachelorettes of the future. If they ask you on a form about your fear and you write down an actual fear, there is a very good chance, if you end up on the show, that they're going to make you confront that fear. Right? So just don't put your fears down there. And
put down some ones that you really like, but you can fake it.
That's what I've got. Put a fake fear on, play the part, and then you get some touchy-touchy because he is like, oh, she needs some reassurance. I give her a cuddle because she's up in her... She might have faked that fear, but now she's got a cuddle out of it,
True. I also think there's a problem that just a lot of doing things in New Zealand requires going on a small craft in the air, so it's kind of like...
Imagine if AJ Hackett was The Bachelor. Imagine that.
Where did that come from?
That's a weird one.
Because then every date would be like some crazy adventure.
I think every day would just be tandem bungee jumping, which I'm not even sure is a thing.
Yeah.
But
Tandem bungee jumping is totally a thing.
Is it really?
Yeah, because he was going to do it with Matilda, but they were too heavy. Their combined weight was too heavy.
Because Art is like 5 people's worth of...
Yeah.
We're not saying
beef.
anything nice about Matilda there. It's just that Art is like all man, all muscle, all day long and night.
Well, that's what we'd like to see.
Anyway,
Note to Bachelor producers.
They go to the crater of... Was it the crater? I don't know. It was
the crater.
It was bubbly and smoky. And
very confident.
It was very cool.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And then after that, they followed that up with a trip to a gannet colony. Now, I've been to a gannet colony when I was 12, Cape Kidnappers in round Napier. It stunk. It's like bad.
Yeah, well, this is something I was thinking, because also I think that volcano thing or whatever must have stunk as well, right? It was
sulfur.
like bubbling mud, sulfur. It's not very romantic.
No.
Then you go straight to this bird hell.
And there's a...
Bird hell?
I mean, it's just where the gannets live.
They probably don't call it that.
They probably call it home, but I don't know. For me, it's birdhouse.
There was no food. There was no food. I mean, this was the week of yum food, but I don't remember any food on this date. But
there was a good swim.
There was a good swim.
And I think the swim would have felt better after the double stench day.
Yeah.
Like you're out amongst the briny water.
Yeah.
It's nice.
And also after surviving the bombshell, the big bombshell.
Oh, yeah.
Alicia dropped a
that's right.
huge bombshell.
Yeah. So she's married. Like almost 100% of the Bachelorettes, apparently.
You're either married or convicted of a
Yeah.
jailable offence.
Yeah, it didn't carry as much weight as some of the other revelations had. Did you think?
No,
it wasn't
well-
sort of...
Number one, Danielle B was married. That never even came up.
No, it did.
Did it?
Yeah, she confessed it at some point, I think.
No, it just came up in the. It just came up in the news.
No.
We talked about it.
No.
She talked
sure
about
that.
being previously married, but she's actually technically still married
Right.
because she's in divorce proceedings.
Well, you have to wait 2 years. There's a cooling off period. 'Cause
Yeah,
you
that's
might
a
just
separation
leap back
time.
into each other's
So
lives.
I think it was really weird how the story didn't really come out very naturally. It was something like she said, I was living in Japan with my ex-partner, and then it cuts to him and he's like, so you're married.
Yeah, it was weird. It's like they cut a big chunk out for some reason.
We missed something.
Maybe she swore constantly.
That was
like
smart
a
move.
sailor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because she
Through-
was saying,
through it.
yeah, she did say she had, like, not a dark past, but there were, my life isn't all perfect and stuff. So maybe there was, like, some stuff.
I think
I don't
she
know.
also definitely hinted at heartbreak, like that she still had feels about this situation. Because then he was all like, if you still like this guy, if you're still like feeling things, I'm not interested. She was all like, no, I love you. That's, well, not love, obviously. She's not saying that L word yet. No, I'm only thinking about you or something, she says. But I definitely got vibes off her, and obviously Art did too, that she's still got the feels for the ex.
Her body language was particularly odd. I don't know if you noticed when she was delivering this news. Her legs were incredibly splayed. Like, it was like...
I did not
like
notice.
Miaowsker's
like, it was
normal
giving
splayed,
birth.
or whatever it's
on
called.
a lawn.
Meowsers.
Meowsers.
It was akin to Miaowskers.
Jesus Christ.
Anyway...
Is that even legal before
that.
8:30 p.m?
It was just odd.
I
don't
think
know.
she's like a wounded bird, Alicia. The way she's a bit sulky and kind of, I just feel like she's emo to the max.
Yeah, I really like the lack of guardedness about her in that situation, and I think like Art. I don't know. I think it works on Art. Like I think he likes to kind of mother or father or whatever disgusting analogy I'm currently using.
Yeah.
That one, the woman, and the more opportunities he has to do that. Like when Matilda was the wounded bird, nursed her back to life.
Yeah.
So I think it was actually a sneaky good play by Alicia, because she was like tense as hell, delivered it and was visibly relaxed and relieved, and then just had a lovely water pash.
Yeah, okay. Well, yes, okay, she did have all... I just have to... I've got to bring up a quote because it's a classic misquote, Bachelorette misquote.
I think I know what this is.
Yeah. So this is right after she's revealed that she's actually married. She says, I don't like hiding stuff, and I just want to be fully up, straight, honest with everything.
That was the one. That was so good.
For those
I did not
playing at
catch
home, it should be straight up honest.
I'm just
Up
pointing
straight
out
honest.
my
Up, straight,
Duncan has
honest.
also written that
All
in
caps.
capital letters.
underlined.
And I just thought that was fine. I did not even make
You were
note
too
of it.
busy thinking about the scones or
Yeah.
everything else on the high tea.
Can we get to the Pash?
Okay, yes, they have a
Yeah.
kiss. It was worth the wait, apparently, according
Water
to...
Pash, that's
Yeah.
right up there for me.
Yeah,
That
Water
was-
Pash Spider Monkey.
Okay, instigated by Alicia, very smartly done out at sea, so the cameras can't get all up in their grills. You know what I mean? Like they've got to zoom in a bit, but even then they couldn't get right in there.
That's what Natalie needed, because
Yeah.
she was just every
Yeah.
time there was a camera like as far away as this microphone, kind of watching the
And-
pores expand.
And also,
Yeah.
imagine this, a cameraman probably short, well, not necessarily short, but definitely shorter than Natalie, is like all at an upward angle, probably wobbling away trying to get the shot. It's very distracting in your peripheral vision.
So you just head out to sea, Nat.
She had the chance, though, remember? They were at sea. She chipped a tooth, so it probably wasn't the greatest time. But
Oh,
If
yeah.
we'd gone and had a look for it, that could have been her excuse.
Yeah.
Natalie, one of my favourite tweeters, by the way, because she has been communicating with us on Twitter, and she insists that the tooth chip that you accused of being her of being fake was for real.
Show me the chip, Natalie. Show me the chip.
She's going to knock on the door any minute
yeah.
now. Where are we? Pashing in the sea.
Yeah, so she got a rose for that.
Good.
Oh, yeah, and also what I liked is the second that the contact was made, there was like this crazy, like, fake Blink-182 or something. roared through. It rocked. They're getting real crazy with the soundtrack. I really like it.
Yeah, it's like either super intense doomy or just ecstatic. It's wonderful.
I really enjoyed it.
When Alicia returns to the Bachelorette pair, they I've got the girls grill Alicia about the kiss.
Yeah. Because she was waiting for that, and I don't know if this is a misquote or not, but she said she was waiting for that good little chestnut about the kiss. Is that fine? Do you want to give her that?
I think so.
A good little chestnut?
A chestnut.
What do you normally say?
that
That old
seems fine.
chestnut.
Yeah, that old chestnut.
Oh, right, yeah.
I've got a quote written down here, like a classic bit of Crystal kind of, just backhanded dissery. I don't know if I don't think it'll make the end, but while they were away, that she was talking about Matilda, and she said, "I call Matilda Susie Homemaker.
Oh, yes.
She would be a great girlfriend / wife / grandmother."
grandmother.
That's peak Crystal for me. I don't know what that was in relation to. I think it's probably Matilda sort of mumbling away about how it's bad to Pash on dates or something. But geez, it was good stuff.
I think that's actually, like, to me, I look at that and I think, what a compliment. Like, a girlfriend's good, a girlfriend you take out to your parties and that. A wife's good, she does all the wifely things. And then the grandmother cooks up, like, a really good pie.
You're taking
be all.
the best side of all of those scenarios.
Yes.
Just
I have
by the
a
way.
feeling that Matilda might be like the Lily Bayliss of the Bachelor house, as in I feel like she bakes. We haven't seen any of this because I know they don't like to spend a lot of time with anything that's not art. But Matilda, if you bake, just let me know.
Bake
I
us
feel
something.
Matilda can
Send
bake.
us a
Prove
cake.
it.
Matilda can bake because it was in her opening blimmin' thing, wasn't it?
Yeah, and that's where I think
She
some
was
of
in
that
the kitchen and
homemaker
she was
thing.
like, I like to bake or something. And her very opening address at the beginning of the season.
This is how Alex has kind of found this amazing information.
This is how I found it. Yeah, by watching and listening and remembering.
and thinking
And
that
it's
it was
a
your
breakthrough,
original
guys.
information. Big scoop from the show.
No, I just mean that's
yeah.
why she said that, I think. I think she's been putting those things that we saw into action
Yes, she
in
has.
the Bachelor Mansion.
They know that about her. They know that she can do, like, ruffle cakes and stuff.
Yeah.
I don't even know what those are. But
Well,
I know
I'll tell you
can
what,
do them.
I honestly-
You're a monster baker.
I honestly think it would be really good if Matilda made us some treats. And Matilda,
Really good.
It would make
we
up
know
for the
you're on
lack of
Twitter.
Lindauer sponsorship, which she could also probably have got us through her marketing contacts.
she really could have.
Yeah.
I mean, she's been great, but she could be greater. That's what aspirations for you, Matilda.
Come
Isn't
on,
it stop
Matilda,
talking
come
to
on,
all-
Pressuring the Bachelorettes
Yeah,
now
well.
for stuff.
It's
It's
kind
getting
of
late.
like bullying, but for, like, a
I'm
good
yanking
end.
your ponytails, Bachelorettes.
Too
Right.
soon.
The date card arrives. I can't even remember if Mike delivers it or not. So he's almost just like the postman now.
No, I think what happens is Natalie whips it out from under her dress.
Oh,
At the
really?
high tea. Yeah, and she's like, this is what we got.
What was Mike doing? He had so very little
Mike
to
was
do
very
anyway.
busy prepping the old French school forest house or whatever it was.
He was driving to Kitana from the airport. anyway, the date card said, "Who's looking for a love match?" And then in the side interview, Danny's all like, "I am."
Danny's getting
Really,
very
Danny?
keen. Yeah.
Are you? Didn't realise you were so keen. And they go on a group date, which involves some tennis, which the girls all deduced from that. That really obvious. I feel like the date cards.
They're
are
not
more and more-
cryptic enough at all.
No.
Really not.
They should. The next one's just going to say fishing.
Yeah. They could have done something with like love with tennis, you know?
They did
Oh, okay.
a love match.
So on the group date,
Oh, yeah, obviously I'm not worthy.
You're not really watching the show the
I'm not
same.
even-
But like,
There was probably a
listening to
scone
you
in the
on a
frame at the
screen.
time.
okay, no.
okay. So it's a group
Moving
date.
on.
It's a group date at tennis with Danny, Nat, Tildes, and Crystal. Who wasn't on there? Alicia wasn't on there, and Poppy.
Poppy,
What
yeah.
was Poppy doing?
Sulking.
Chilling out.
God, 'cause she had a one-on-one yesterday, and yesterday's Ep.
Oh,
No,
yeah.
tomorrow's
no.
it. She's one. Wow, we're still on Tuesday.
We're
What
still
are
on
they
the first
doing?
night, yeah.
No, she doesn't have
I
one
guess
on
they just
Tuesday.
needed someone to keep
Whatever.
Alicia
Anyway,
company.
okay. So they go to Old Forest School. Out pops out in his tennis whites, and all the girls are like, "Oh my goodness, he looks so cute!" And I'm
be
like,
fair-
"This is just his. Like, this is what he wears. He's like, he's a rich kid,
He's
right?"
a fancy boy,
He
yeah.
looked. He's a fancy boy. That sounds like a male gigolo. That's like a 19th century name for one. But he totally does. He looks great in tennis whites.
He looks
He did
totally
look
at
good.
home with them.
Though, gotta say, I know that it's like an ye oldie fashioned steampunk school, but why has he got that like weird old like? Surely they could have. It would have been
They
okay
all
to use a
had
proper
them.
tennis racket. Like tennis is hard enough without using like 1800s era catgut tennis rackets.
Look, tell Nat that. It is not hard. It is easy, okay? Crystal, sort it out.
I wanted to see Nat
Yeah.
and Nat going at it on the tennis court.
Yeah. Singles, right?
Yeah, because those other girls are so rubbish. It just ruined this,
What a waste
this-
of time.
this
May as well be
sport.
doing
You just need to
lollipop
watch some
serves.
tennis. Just tune out.
No, I won't be playing. It'll suck.
I have a theory that Crystal was pretending to be bad. What do you think about that?
No.
What? For what?
She's
for what?
terrible at everything
Because
she's
then
ever
she
done
gets
on the
Art to
show.
slide on in and help her and like. Do
Do you know what? I actually don't think she gives a toss about Art. I actually don't think she cares whether he touches her or not. I
Really?
think her whole shtick was just go on the telly, have a bit of fun, up her profile, sayonara.
Yeah, especially retrospectively after that.
Exactly.
Great sign off.
Astonishing exit. Yeah.
I feel like Art's the kind of guy who probably gets together with his friends and dresses up in tennis whites just for kicks and to take some photos to shove up on Facebook, and and he probably does. He probably does the same thing with lawn bowls and sailing. They probably everything they do in golf. They probably have little outfits that they that they dress up in.
You're revealing a cynical side tonight.
Well,
Easy.
I just thought that I think he's a very handsome man. He looked good in his tennis whites.
Did he ever?
I mean, Matilda, did you catch that moment where she was talking to Mike? She can't play. He's invited to a date where she can't get
it's
involved because she's
ridiculous.
broken her wrist. So she stands with old ball boy Mike Puru and God, that came out wrong. And the Mike picks up her candid moment where she sort of says, God, he's such a babe.
Yeah.
About, like, she's like, Art's a babe. Art is a babe.
It's not news. It's
But
the
I
same.
know, but it wasn't like, it was like a real candid moment that they captured of her just chatting to Mike. It wasn't like an on camera, she was being aware of what she was saying moment.
Well, Mike actually said to me in an interview that he wished that he could have Art as well.
Well, I've got written down here.
Big reveal.
It is. I've got written down here, Matilda says to Mike, God, he's such a babe. And Mike's like, I hear you, girl, but he doesn't say that out loud, he just thinks it. So I called it.
Yeah.
You sure did.
But I mean, it's pretty hard not to fall in love with Art, right? We're all at this point now.
I think I feel about Art the way that Art feels about Crystal, which is like physically fine and really attractive, but kind of that's where it ends.
Crystal.
That's how he feels about
Yeah.
Crystal. Art finds Crystal physically attractive, but can't get beyond that.
He's confused by her. I'm a little confused by Art,
I'm
as
confused
well
by
as
Art.
being attracted to him. It's all a
Confusing
shambles.
world.
Yeah.
You obviously are physically attracted to Art and the rest because you've been
I'm
having
only
crazy
human.
dreams about him.
Yeah, you're the only one who's had a dream about him.
Hey, so they flick back to the batch pad where Poppy's drowning a delicious giant milk drink once again.
Ah, yes, the return of the pina coladas. No old man, though, serving them up this week.
No.
He's gone.
He's drowned.
They got pushed into the sea.
A vat of
Washed
milk.
away. Just like to point out this is a little bit of a rewind, but Matilda with the espresso martini when she was discussing
Alicia.
I can just call her what I want at this point. Discussing whatever that girl's name's date.
Yes.
I feel like that's a power move.
That's Art's drink.
That's Art's drink. I'll be drinking Art's drink. No one else has.
Yeah, it's a good
just
point.
saying, signalling.
Yeah.
Caught in the wild.
Bachelorettes, get in touch about your drink choices. Who makes them?
Yeah.
How do you
And
decide?
what was that giant milk drink?
How many litres of giant milk do you drink a day?
We flick back to the group date.
How do you milk a giant?
And the group sit down for some giant burgers, and Crystal has a big sulk
Yes.
because she doesn't feel like burgers.
No, she doesn't look like the kind of person that eats a huge burger the size of her face.
This actually mirrors the Australian. Did you watch the Australian Bachelor with what's her face, Lorena?
Lorena, she's a real Crystal type.
She didn't want to have burgers either, and he took her to a burger, like like the White Lady,
Yeah.
like a roadside diner, roadside trailer thing with burgers, and she
Yeah.
was not happy. And Crystal basically pulled the same thing. Meanwhile, it's Matilda's dream come true. She's hoeing into the
She
burgers.
loves it.
Art pops some Lindy, perfect with a burger.
Yeah, it's a great. It's a lovely. It's a compliment to any food.
It is.
I think.
Perfect with any kind of delicacy. And then Crystal yells out, "Hey, burger people."
Yeah, she needs a knife and fork.
She needs a knife and fork.
Crystal's
Those burger
not into-
people need to sort that S out.
Yeah, that was a great display of her her feelings towards the working class.
Hey,
They
burger
work
people.
for me.
Matilda was not impressed by that.
I also like that the burger person was a small child. Like, that's how you save on labour costs on the Bachelor. That's how iWorks does. Julie Christie's like, only child labour off camera. Except Crystal ruined it by calling in the off-camera labour and revealing that it's entirely staffed by 10-year-olds. Julie Christie's going to be steamed.
And now, at this point, I was starting to fall for it. I was starting to think, Art is going to think that Crystal's high maintenance. First up, she's having a little sulk about the tennis. Now she's having a sulk about the burger. And he says Crystal can have a word. And I'm thinking, he's going to pull her up on it.
Detention. They're at school.
But instead, he does a Christie and pulls out some childhood photos.
That was weird.
Not just photos, projects.
Project.
Full
Reports?
A4
Okay.
numbers.
I figured out what it was, that he pulled out. He pulled out these sheets of paper that looked like he was doing a project at some point where he was detailing years of his life and what he can remember from that time. This is what we learnt, okay? Delicious, Lindy. Delicious. Okay, so he took a while to walk because he loved to crawl so much. His earliest memory was when he was 3, sitting on the lawn playing with his plastic hammer. He liked Thomas the Tank Engine and would watch it every morning. He enjoyed playing with sticks on his bike and in the sandpit. He had a dog called Ozzy and 2 cats, Bernie and Lewis. Doesn't really remember them so much as the dog, though. He was born on 20th of May, 1988. Happy birthday for Monday, Art.
Whoa.
20th of May.
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh.
it's a long way away.
But
Is it?
good on you for saying the thing.
We've got more time to prep for Art's birthday
I'm just
now.
going to delete this bit.
Matilda, can you bake us a cake to
Bake
give
the
for
cake.
Art?
Yeah.
That's embarrassing. Anyway, so essentially, aside from that heinously embarrassing mistake I just made,
You're off the cast.
Art is basically my son. My son is exactly the same. He took a while to walk because he liked to crawl. He's got like this little hammer he plays. It likes Thomas the Tank Engine, playing with sticks and spikes. Art is my son.
That's it. Art imitating life, I should say.
I just like, well, you
Or
can't
life
see.
imitating art.
Yeah.
Oh, you can't see Jane's face right now, but she's looking crazy.
Is your son a
I
fan of
can't
that
believe you guys
classic,
aren't joining this ride with me. Joining me on
that
this ride.
classic Microsoft Word like lettering of that era? I don't know if you guys are familiar
You're
with that.
just going to put
You
paper clips all
come
over.
from a different era to us.
You guys know about computers and stuff.
Vaguely.
Just hand cranked ones.
The parents
Tablets. Stone tablets.
The parents' comment at the bottom of that was Art started sleeping through the night at 6 weeks. He was a good little baby. Okay.
I hate you, Art. Like, none of my babies would ever do that.
My son did,
angry.
classically, of course, because he's Art. Anyway, then there was another piece of paper, something about jumping in the back of the car because he missed his mum so much, rode his first bike without training wheels and learnt to swim without floaties because he's amazing. And then the parents' comment was, I used to piggyback him a lot. I'm starting to see some things about Art's mum here.
Art's
Yeah.
mum is...
Very, very close to his mum.
Clearly got a mum thing.
Do we get to meet his mum like proper meet?
I think
Yeah.
we do, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to
we
that.
obviously don't, but in the television world
Or
we do.
do we?
Dun, dun, dun. That'd be good. Imagine that.
I feel like she'd
Can
be
we
the
arrange
best
that?
guest.
She would be the best guest.
Art's mum, if you're listening.
Oh god.
I'm basically going to send this whole podcast
I can
just
tell you
talking to
this:
specific
if Art's
people.
mum is listening, she is not ever going to be a guest.
No.
We need to. She can't know about this podcast.
Okay. Go away, Art's mum.
I'm sorry for saying your son had a mum thing. Please still come on the podcast. I'm sure it's fine.
His testimonial from Burnside High School said that his middle name is Hlavik.
Clever.
Yeah.
Hlavik.
That's right.
You'd know that
What?
from his
Check.
Facebook page
Check.
if you'd done a wee
Check,
look.
check. And predictably enough, he was like sport billy, tennis, athletics, cricket, badminton, and indoor cricket, not to be confused with cricket. He had a ready sense of humour and a good work ethic. That's it.
That's Art.
That's
Yeah.
Art in a nutshell.
It's still Art.
Look at him now.
The history of art.
I like to, whenever I get the chance.
Now, while they're in the schoolhouse looking at Art's entire resume, Natalie, Matilda and Danny are sitting in a quaint pastel painted trailer called Tippy, which I
no, I
personally
had a
wouldn't
name.
get in to a trailer that was called Tippy because it doesn't bode well, but they did anyway. It probably should have been called Tipsy because they were really knocking back the Lindies, weren't they?
Yeah. It was boring. They were in that classroom for a long time.
They were in that classroom for a long time, which meant that these girls were in the trailer for a long time with all sorts of delicious sweet treats. And I figured out that it was like a little ice cream setup, but all ice cream in 2 bowls had completely melted and someone had sort of ceremoniously dumped a cone upside down in the melted ice cream.
Too much Lindauer.
Too much Lindauer. They were like, stuff this. Ice cream's melted. Let's just
Anarchy.
hit the Lindies.
Yeah. Lovely macaroons, though. Meringues. All sorts of...
Also, it looked delicious.
It did look great. I didn't actually notice the melted ice cream, but I'm sure that was delicious.
It frustrates me that they don't seem to eat all the delicious food that's put in front of them.
I was thinking about food waste.
So bad.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
What flavour ice cream did it look like?
Vanilla.
Oh, okay.
Of course.
White Island.
Of course. It was a tip to Natalie that it was vanilla. That's all I'm saying. Natalie was feeling insecure. She was like, had said that she'd watched Matilda and Danny in the group situation. Was like, you look, let's set your fit list for you guys. You look so relaxed. And why am I still here? And then, why
Nail
was
in the
she still
coffin,
there?
really. Yeah.
Foreshadowing.
Um,
Cinematic technique.
I know we'll have to actually wrap this all up soon because we're going on a long time. But a lot happened in this episode. Art in the future, written at age 11, back at the schoolhouse, says, I will become a teacher and do very well for myself. I will have saved up enough money to travel around the world. I will be living in a biggish house in Christchurch. At the age of 26, I will get married and have 3 children. My hobbies will be sports and woodwork. Okay. But his actual so that's what he predicts will happen, but his fantasy... Hello, in the fantasy suite, is I will become a rugby superstar at the age of 18. I will have millions of dollars and travel around the world and meet a lovely lady from America or England, whatever.
Or England.
I will have 3 children and 2 dogs. I will live in the country and have a huge house by the sea. No, he doesn't say England, but he obviously thinks America is like exotic, so he's going to think England.
He is a fancy boy.
Can you live in the country and have a huge house by the sea at the same time?
Well, that's what I was wondering, but I think
Ricky says yes.
Yeah, I think there are country houses by the sea, aren't there?
Definitely.
I mean, we think of the country as being like inland, but
That's why No, he could have 2 houses. He's got millions and millions of dollars.
The French country houses looks at the sea
no, it
Does it?
didn't.
and has country in its name.
No, it didn't, did it?
I
look
think
at the sea.
there's...
Look, the thing is,
We're getting hung up on details.
really getting hung up on
We haven't
details.
talked about the best thing about this episode, which is Tiki Tane locked in a
Oh
bar.
my God.
Firstly, can I just say, from
That's
the
his
moment he
house.
takes Natalie aside, it's daylight. They walk 10 metres into the little barn, and suddenly it's bloody night time.
Who knows?
It's incredible what it does in
Plenty
the
for
Bay
you.
of Plenty.
Yep.
TV's magic. It changes casts from your left arm to your right arm and back again. That's something else.
That's
That's foreshadowing.
Tiki Tane is playing a private concert for Natalie and Art, and it's not awkward at all.
That's
fine.
It's definitely the most awkward thing on The Bachelor so far, I reckon. Like,
Wow.
Imagine just watching that man in those funny clothes play those silly little songs, and because it's already like any time those 2 are together, like Natalie and Art, it's diabolically
it's terrible.
awkward.
And do you know
I
what
feel
they
like
do?
Tiki alleviated the situation, if anything. Having another little guy there just having a jam.
Yeah, I'll be sillier than you.
Yeah.
And there's like the other 3 watching the date as
Watching.
well.
Yeah, they were not very
the Bermuda Triangle of awkward.
It was insane, and they're all pissed as newts. And then, of course, Art and Natalie get on it as well in terms of the alka. You can tell. They I think when those 2 come together, it's super awkward. So they knock back the Lindies, and they end up sitting outside next to the barn on a bunch of
They
cushions.
weren't sitting. They were sort of slouched.
They were
They were
slouched
They were
because
slouched the way you are when you've been thrown out of a bar, but they're too spinny to get into a cab.
Art was practically slurring.
Yeah.
He was all
He
kind
was
of...
thinking Lindauer's like they were beers, I reckon.
Man, they were both kind of just like, they were slouching like they had forgotten they were on telly, which is definitely a sign of having had a little too much to drink because there's like
Yeah.
cameras and lights in your face.
But Natalie can never forget she's on television. That's why she's not on this TV show anymore.
Right.
It's very
Nat.
sad. Love
She
you,
did
Nat.
not, they were hovering in the kiss zone for a
Right.
very long time.
Yeah.
And she kept dropping out of it. She kept
It's like laggy
rejecting
internet.
his... Yeah. In a way, it was just, it was very frustrating. I don't know if when you guys were watching, I was just like, now, do it now. Like, it was so many times. And it was just like,
Coach Casey.
If only you'd been
Get in
there.
there, mate.
off camera, blow trying
Hey,
to whistle.
actually, look, there's an idea. Nat, we know you listen. Perhaps you can hit Alex up for some coaching tips for future dates. She could probably accompany you on some future dates.
I'll just hide.
Yeah.
Like next actor style.
Oh, yeah. That's true. I was thinking just put like a fruit bowl on my head and go like next to this table at the restaurant. Like that's
Of course, that's what you're thinking.
A newspaper with
World.
eye holes cut out.
Yeah.
Or you could be like, so you know how like Mike Pottery gets around by clinging to Art's back and just transporting wherever he goes. Maybe you could do that to Nat.
Yeah, she's tall enough.
I think
Nah,
she's
I'm into it if you are.
Oh my God, I hope you guys are laughing at home. Seriously, or in the car or
This is
wherever you're at the moment.
ridiculous.
Out loud on the bus would be good. Okay, on to the cocktail party. Danny has some one-on-one time and expresses her fears and concerns that, she's losing that he's dating other people now. She's serious and she wants a kiss. She wants to sneak a kiss, but she doesn't sneak a kiss. She basically dives in his mouth. And Matilda catches them at it.
The angles are amazing. They're like Danny's just so far over him, and he's like sprawled backwards. It's the most amazing. Like,
Limbs flailing.
yeah.
Help, help.
The physics of it are extraordinary.
What do you guys think? Was that an okay thing for her to do?
Yeah, it's
I
fine.
thought it was good.
It's totally
I liked it.
fine,
Yeah.
right?
Danny had a spectacular week. She's got to be
Yeah.
number one with a bullet on the power rankings.
I think so, just for Pashes alone.
Too many of the girls forget that it's a competition and forget what the prize is and are just not going for it enough, except Danny.
Danny is always mentally undressing the prize. I'll tell you that for free.
And she's also playing mind games with them. She goes back and she shows off about her connection with them.
Yeah.
She's like, Art says I'm amazing. He says he can see us together after this, so you guys may as well just take a flying leap.
Well, and she also says basically, Bashing's art's awesome. Why aren't we all doing it all the time?
Yeah, I mean,
Which is like a defense mechanism and a kind of like a slight on them for
Yeah.
not having pashed him every time they're within 3 feet of each other, just
Yeah.
diving lips first at the bro.
She even said that to Crystal, who had already kissed him. And Crystal was like, oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, but that was 3 weeks ago, and that's sort of off
That's,
the conveyor belt.
That's like a year in Danny Pash time.
in this particular cocktail party, Art's going around. He's suddenly realised what the point of the whole TV show is, and starts asking everyone if they can see a future with him, in which they all can, obviously.
That's been literally the only thing he's spoken to anyone about in 3 weeks.
I know, and even on the Wednesday night episode, he continued asking people the next day after he'd asked them the night before if they could still see a future with him.
Yeah.
Perhaps he
is it
was
a-
having blank blackouts from the night before. I couldn't imagine why.
He asked Crystal.
Yeah.
And she said the catchphrase, I'm definitely here for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Registered trademark Bachelor franchise.
So she has watched The Bachelor. She's definitely watched The Bachelor. She's playing her character brilliantly.
yeah.
Yes, she can see a future with him. She also said, because he sort of pulled her up about her being so sarcastic, he's not sure if what's for real, and he wants to see the real Crystal. And she says, I stumbled into some feelings the other day, then I blew that shit off.
Yeah.
I love it.
I loved it as well.
That is a wonderful, wonderful line. Another recurring theme through that whole cocktail party was I can't remember who said this, but this is like a job interview, position being Arthur's wife.
Yes, it is. Yes, that's the whole point.
Which, yes it is, but I also like how that framing of it, where he would just come up and kind of select another candidate,
yeah.
take them away
Yeah.
for an interview. It was pretty fun.
And pretty soon he's going to take them to meet the executives, his mum and dad.
Absolutely.
Mum and dad or just mum? His parents?
They're not together, but they're amicable.
Okay.
They can be in the same room.
Okay, cool.
Tell you what, it's going to double the runtime with all these broken homes in The Bachelor. We've got, who is it, Alicia?
Double
Matilda.
away, I
I mean,
say.
I don't want it to end. I'm happy for it.
Anyway, Nat goes home. Predictably,
Yeah.
brunette.
Yeah, what were you doing with that hair colour? She should have just looked around and dyed her hair.
Absolutely,
That would have
she
been
should
the
have.
power play in that episode.
Goodness knows Danny's trying every hair colour under the sun. And that brings us to the end of Tuesday night's episode. We have not very long to talk about Wednesday night, so we'll
Yeah.
get straight into it. It's the Battle of the Blondes, down to the famous five, fabulous five, the dream team, whatever you want to call them. And Art starts the show by swimming. Again. Come on, Art, get some new exercise. There's heaps of different
reusing
exercises you
it.
can be doing. Do some new stuff. Rowing? Has he done rowing yet?
Oh, he does some rowing a bit later on, though.
Yes, he does.
He does.
It's very vigorous flying around the fountain.
Yeah.
In fact,
Circles and
let's
circles.
skip straight to that date, a one-on-one date with Matilda, and he pulls up in a non-Suzuki military Jeep.
Yeah.
Suzuki, if you were slighted by that, feel free to throw a car our way. We would happily drive around your Suzuki.
Yeah.
And they head up in an old-school plane, having a cuddle up in the air, which is nice.
Yeah,
And I
it
thought
looked like a cool date. Like that plane thing was very exciting.
that was awesome. I mean, I would never do it, but it looked awesome for someone who would, like Matilda.
I just looked at the pilot and was like, I'm not going up in a plane with you. Like,
Oh, yeah, but
What's
look
wrong with
what you
Pete?
would have missed out on, Crystal.
I don't know, his hair was growing out of all kinds of different places on his head.
That's where hair grows.
For him,
On your head.
not for art.
Where does Art's hair grow?
Just out of the right places, at the right lengths.
He's had a haircut, Art, in this episode, by
Yeah.
the way. I think it looked very smart. Every time he's had a little trim, I think it looks very smart. I sort of fall in love with him a little bit again.
Very, very clever.
They, after the plane, they wander through a fountain forest or something.
The Fountain Gardens.
Fountain Gardens, and they jump in a dinghy to row their boat around a very small pond and around and around and around. And it wasn't, we all watched this together and we watched them having their little cute little exchange. And it wasn't for like a good few minutes until we realised they're actually just going around and around the little fountain in the middle.
Yeah.
It's a very small pond.
Yeah.
I'm surprised someone didn't get motion sickness. That would have been a great addition.
The
Matilda
cool-
just vomited everywhere.
Maybe she did.
We did
But
that one
they
if we
certainly
don't
were putting the Lindauer away. The date was cool because it had like 10 component parts.
Yeah.
It was like, I don't know how long the whole thing took, probably like 2-3 weeks, but it was amazing. Like a cat died and then came back to life. Like there was a lot went on this date.
Yeah.
Yeah, he probably got quite a sore arm, I'm thinking, with the rowing too, because if you're kind of turning, you
could see him just rowing with the one arm. Yeah.
And Matilda could have done that rowing.
She could
Get
have
out of
done it.
proportion, which would be horrible, because what would we model future perfect human specimens
I'm
on?
sure he could find ways to beef up the other arm. Don't be rude.
Jane.
Don't be rude. Don't be rude. Some of my in-laws listen to this. Don't be rude. Okay. Now, a quick zip back to the house, as they tend to do. Mm-hmm. They cut back to the house, and there's been a clothes swapping arrangement. We're all recycling of clothes.
Yeah, very recent. Poppy was wearing Alicia's outfit from last night or from Tuesday night's episode.
Yeah.
They've
It's not
given
just
up.
the cocktail dresses. They're diving into each other's casual wear as well.
Yeah. I have a theory they realise they just need to do like a pickup shot and they're like, swap clothes right now and say some words.
This is the bit where they're sitting on the pier and Crystal is drunk as a skunk and dragging out the hook, line and sinker date card and revealing that it's a 2-on-1.
She was.
I don't know if she was drunk, but
her way
she
down
was.
the
Yeah,
gangplank.
It wasn't
didn't
helped by
seem
the
like it.
horizontal stripes on her dress. It was like a crazy optical illusion.
So I'm just going to drop another theory on you
Mm-hmm.
regarding the clothes swapping.
Mm-hmm.
What if they're not swapping clothes, but we just can't tell the difference between them, and are just sort of arbitrarily attaching names to these kind of essentially identical looking women?
Yeah.
And
That's a crazy
Duncan,
theory.
we don't have
That's
time
a
for
crazy
this.
theory.
I'm just saying
We don't have time for
probably
it.
true.
They could be swapping faces.
Yeah, like we haven't seen them.
We've been talking for 42 minutes.
Who knows how good that Revlon makeup is what I'm saying.
That's a great point.
2 girls, 1 rows, 1 stay, 1 go. 1 stays, 1 goes is something that Danny says when she finds out it's a 2-on-1
it
date.
is.
And it's the 2-on-1 date for her and Alicia. Now, the thing is, that exact line...
Whoa! Did we just skip the?
No, we
Cat?
didn't skip. We didn't
haven't
skip.
skipped the cat.
We're just at the cutaway back to the batch pad. So that 2 girls, 1 rows, 1 stays, 1 goes line is what appears on a date card in the US batch when there's the infamous 2-on-1 date, which happens every season, where that's actually what happens. He has a rose on the date, 2 girls go off on the date, 1 of them will not be returning. So Danny quotes this. She's actually very, very well schooled
Yeah.
in batch. Like she hasn't just watched a season. She's like watched several and remembered little poems from them.
But she's not
Yeah.
she's not just remembered the poems from them, but she's like gleeful about it.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, bring it on.
Yeah.
Like you take me on a date, you're kicking the other girl out.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Anyway, so that we saw in the promos that all the girls were at the cocktail party, so we knew it wasn't that kind of a date.
Yeah, the old promos.
They're
7:30 p.m.
too scared to go straight into
This
the
is Training Wheels
the
Bachelor.
full. Yeah. Anyway, back to the date, and there's a silver and diamond bracelet produced.
Yes.
Because the bracelet clicks, and he's clicked with Matilda, so that's quite nice.
Yeah, and we see her Carpe Diem wrist tattoo
Yes.
for the first time.
Or as Duncan says,
Carpe diem.
You were too ready for that.
I was pretty proud of that one. Just freestyled it during the show.
they sit down for a tart and some Lindy, because Lindy goes with everything.
Versatile.
And then it goes back, because this date's going on forever. They have to cut back to the apartment again, and Crystal reveals to Danny that Poppy had, in fact, pashed art, and starts this whole drama off.
This whole debacle. Also, another thing, Crystal, just in these little talking heads during this time, was wearing a horrendous
Oh,
top.
yeah. Oh, that was so bad.
It was like a denim tie.
Can you put a screen grab up of that?
I will.
Okay.
It will be on the website for sure. It will be the cover photo.
And then we pop back to Tilds and Art and their new little mate praying mantis and Miaowsker the cat. This is all yours, Duncan and Alex, because you guys could not stop
I was crying with laughter at that
with the
cat.
laughter.
It was just amazing when she had this conversation about how she basically intimated she was going to pash him and that she needed to elevate the relationship, and then a cat was on the screen. I don't know, there's some euphemistic shit going on there, but and you just think, oh, that's just like a funny joke, but and that. Like, maybe they just had the shot and it was too perfect, so there was a cat wanted and we take the cat out later, and that's the last we'll see of the cat. No,
Nah.
The cat's the star. The cat owns the scene.
Yeah.
It's amazing. Someone give Miaowsker a show.
Yeah.
Because he was she, whatever, all the genders.
Oh, I think it was a she.
Think it was a she?
No, I thought it was a he.
I thought it was a he as well.
Wait, the thing is, Yvette could tell us right away because there were long, lingering shots of
Extreme
his
close-ups.
It's genitalia.
Yeah. I like to think maybe in another world, in a parallel universe, there are cats out there watching The Bachelor, which is happening at the same time. And they're like, what are these humans in the background of the cat shot? He's waiting for his date.
Why have we watched 8 episodes without even meeting the Bachelor?
I don't know. It's just MediaWorks, if you're listening. They're just the disembodied spirit of MediaWorks.
They're everywhere all the time. He was just whatever. Miaowsker was amazing and best featured extra of the series.
Yeah.
Easy.
Hands down.
Easy.
Just so charismatic.
So charismatic.
So who cares? I'm just going to lie here, splayed
Yeah.
out dead.
They
For a long
They were
time.
having their first ever passionate kiss, and Miaowsker was just everything's out.
Okay, here's another theory. Maybe Miaowsker was just giving tips to Matilda. This is how you do it.
Hang on.
And everything will be fine.
Do you have a cat suit, Alex? Were you dressed up as Miaowsker and splaying yourself out for the whole world to see?
My
And
coaching.
whispering tips and coaching Matilda during your date.
I wish I had thought
Coach
of that.
Casey.
Coach Casey strikes again. They have a giggle, total giggle fest, which is the perfect setup for a serious kiss. Not, but they do it anyway, and they pull it off. Have a
It
patch.
was very genuine. I thought the affection, the warmth, and all the rest.
Totally.
I think the previous peak of legitimate warmth and affection was, for me, it was Poppy. But I think that Matilda just leapfrogged her.
And
Cast and all.
And the reward, of course, for pashing Art is a rose. So she's the only one who's safe in going off on a hometown date, which they don't actually mention. It wasn't until the end of the show they're like, oh yeah, Matilda's already got a rose. She's definitely got a hometown date.
Production is hard, man.
It's so hard. May, April. Also, the bracelet, I'm just thinking about now, never came up again. Never got shown off to the girls' humble soul.
Oh, yeah.
Great
She
point.
didn't come home like Crystal did, showing off her earrings.
Straight on Trade Me.
Trade me mobile just on the way home.
Tell you what, if we can find that bracelet on Trade Me, I think it's a surefire bet that that Matilda didn't end up with the final rose.
Yeah, that's right.
I can see you all loading up Trade Me right now, checking to see. Great way to figure it all
By
out.
omniscient, everywhere, God eye.
Okay, then the 2-on-1 date. We can really actually go through this pretty quick, right?
Yeah.
They went fishing.
They fished the hell out of the sea. I don't think there are any fish left. Those
No.
guys got them all.
Yeah, Danny had a funny fishing belt on, which I enjoyed.
Well, that's not a funny fishing belt. That's a normal thing.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was funny.
Appropriate for those massive big game rods they were using to catch an ordinary size snapper.
And then Alicia was
Poor
just being
technique.
a stubborn sulky about it and wouldn't wear the belt, and so she pulled up this tiny little sprat. But actually, quite smart play, because then, of course, when she did get a reasonable size fish, she had to step in and help her reel it in.
Yeah.
It's a good move. She knows what she's doing.
But she was sulky on that day.
Wrapped his great
She
arms
was.
of oak around her. Didn't he?
She has. I swing like a pendulum with Alicia. Like last week I liked her, and this week I can't stand her again. Sorry, Alicia, if you're listening. Oh, I feel so bad when I say mean things. In case you're listening.
Yeah, she was cold though.
I
think
just
she was.
didn't like the
Just-
sulking. I don't like seeing girls sulk on The Bachelor because they're in a situation that they like signed up for.
Well, especially in that situation where it's 2-on-1, it's like, just go. You know, like, well, what else are you going to do? You can't kind of retreat into the background and let Danny just steal everything.
Yeah.
But it did set up like this quite cool thing where you know, she was all cold. Danny went off and just dove down Art's throat as per. And then he came back, fetched her, and it was like fireworks, you know, explosions in the sky when he leant like halfway and she just grabbed his head and just
Oh, that's right.
mushed it into hers. That was wonderful.
Yeah. They
So-
also went to see a seal. A lot of wildlife in this
Didn't
episode.
go to see the seal. The seal sort of leapt up
Tried to attack them.
excitedly. Yeah.
Well, that might be the first group date, if we can call it a group date, where Art has pashed everyone on the date.
That's true.
Congrats.
Well done, Art.
Congrats.
That can go on your resume.
Jane, Art, everyone. Celebrate.
Okay.
Good times.
So we are up to the last ever cocktail party, because next week's hometowns, there's no cocktail party after that. So it's the last ever cocktail party. And
I'm gutted. Can I just say? I
Yeah.
love the cocktail parties.
I love the French country house. It's a damn shame. We'll be leaving that beautiful Parisian.
I think we all know that we're going to go and record the last podcast at the French Country House, right?
Yeah.
Ricky?
You and Ricky?
Ricky, you with me?
Ricky just perked up immensely.
Art and Poppy discuss kids, which is, you know.
Yeah, she wants kids at 28.
And he is, and she's 24, and he says he wants kids in about 5 years. The number's slightly off by a year, but you can work with that. They figured-
Poppy's eyes poppied out of her head
Yeah.
at the sort of vague alignment of the numbers.
If he had said, I want kids in exactly 4 years, that would have been giving her too much. So
that one
yeah.
literally would have fallen out of her skull. She would have, sorry
her
about that.
thingy moment.
Back in it goes.
Danny reveals to everybody that's still sitting around that Poppy fibbed about her kiss. Little white lie, a lie of omission.
Yeah.
And
Well, no,
it's
so it
kind
was
of like,
a very purposeful omission.
it was a very purposeful omission. But if we, I think that she was within her rights to do that.
I also think Danny was within her rights to say, I don't like being lied to.
Yeah.
Because Danny wants the information. Danny is not
Yeah.
shy about letting people know what's been happening with her mouth. And I think they're both fine to do what they did. It was a good confrontational little scene. It was probably the best since the Invercargill, the Great War of Invercargill versus Christchurch.
I feel like, it's been a long time since we've seen any tension amongst the
Yeah.
Bachelorettes, and it was very fleeting.
Yeah, but
It was.
borderline real.
Yeah. Like you said, I think Danny was just mad because I feel like Danny would like to have big, long debriefs about
Yeah.
what the kisses were like and like compare, contrast, just have a chat.
Yeah. And also maybe she wants to know, like, who she could possibly be getting mouth herpes from or giving it to.
Whoa.
I want to know who all your kissing partners are. Just to make sure that we I know, because I saw Poppy with cold sore the other day, so I just want to know for sure.
Whoa.
I didn't.
this isn't real.
This is a hypothetical.
Oh, I was so
Just like
shocked by
mega-
that.
I'm
Fine,
trying
Danny.
to imagine
It's totally
if,
fine. I saw
once
something
again,
in
I'm
the
putting
New Zealand
myself
Herald about it.
in the house. That would be a news story, by the way. If one of those
Poppy
girls
with a
had
cold
a
sore.
cold sore, that would be a news story, wouldn't it? Let's face it, it would be on Stuff.
Maybe on Stuff.
Yeah, it would be on Stuff. I'm sure it would.
Stuff Nation.
Anyway, I'm just imagining myself in the. We've done this. We don't need to talk about this anymore. Anyway, he has one-on-one time with Crystal. He says he's still struggling to get to know her, but he's like totally hot for her. So he's at odds with himself on that.
She's a tough nut to crack.
She's a tough old chestnut to crack. That one.
one of those little old chestnuts.
You guys should be careful with your saying any phrases because we've set a high bar with calling out the Bachelorettes. No.
Dude, I got the month wrong before. I
got everything wrong. I thought I invented something that was clearly in a promo.
If they can use Lindau as an excuse, so can we.
Well, we're pretending to drink Lindau while actually drinking beer. But it's no
I
way
wish
they
it
make
was Lindau.
Only because all the Lindau's gone.
Yeah, it's true. We did just smash that in like half an hour.
Crystal says, I've got here that she said, I kind of want to punch you right now.
Yeah, I've got that too.
I think she was referring to when like he was all like, "Oh, why don't you open up with me?" at the previous cocktail party,
Danny,
and he's got he got smears of like Danny lips all over him. He's like, "Oh, I want you to open up," and she's all like, "I kind of want to punch you right now."
But at the same time, she was the first person to make her mark on
She
art
was, yeah,
with lip product.
How quickly we forget, don't we, Crystal?
I think as well, like that was again quite pro move by Danny to wear like a very visible lip adornment and then just get to smearing.
Yeah. Let's not forget that
Just
this
put
girl has
ankle over
done.
your face or something.
She's done her research. She's done her research, so she knows how to play the game.
She's definitely she marked her territory. It was a great week from Danny.
Then he sits down with Matilda and he's like, it's funny because he sometimes has these conversations with Matilda where it's like he's talking to his wingman and he opens up about like how he's feeling about everyone, which I just think is a really odd thing to do with one of, again, your potential wife or a girlfriend as it happens, because he says it's weird that in a couple of weeks he's going to have a girlfriend. Oh my goodness. So weird that he might have a girlfriend.
I mean, did he say might have a girlfriend?
Yeah.
Or we could just sort of go on a couple of dates to see how... Come
just hang
on,
out.
man.
The whole point of the Bachelor is to get engaged at the end of it. They've got a blooming engagement ring as the O and the word Bachelor and all their promotional material. It drives me nuts that they're making it so casual here.
Yeah. I think in
Like,
the
go for
American one,
gold.
don't they start referring to them as their girlfriends like quite early on?
It's like I've got 5 girlfriends and I'm looking for my wife. Yeah, they talk about wife, they talk about marriage, they talk about kids. The whole setup right from the word go is that he's finding someone to spend the rest
Forever
of his...
love.
Yeah, it's forever love. Hashtag forever love.
But the Michael Hill ads, I've got to say, are just full of like sad people crying. So maybe that's sort of toned down the foreverness of the love.
Look, I know that in the US one we did a quick little fact-checking thing, and they do 2 one-on-one, like full-on one-on-one dates and one group date. That tends to be much more involved, much more time put into all of these dates than the New Zealand version. So I feel like in the American one they do have that time to find a wife. Now, I just think New Zealand Bachelor should take note of that, because next year I want to see a proposal.
No.
I don't want to see. I don't want to see someone find a girlfriend
Don't say next
on the
year.
television.
Like you mean June?
June.
Yeah.
In June,
Straight
when you
through.
start your next season of perhaps The Bachelorette, I want to see a proposal at the end of it.
Yeah.
Is that too much to ask? I don't. If I want to see someone finding a girlfriend, I'll just move into a flat. You know?
No, it's not the flatula. I mean, it was during the first episode with Poppy and all that. But I mean, come on.
Anyway, so yeah, I mean, I suspected all along it wasn't going to end up in a proposal, but now with spelling it out, Matilda, maybe you might be my girlfriend. Maybe you've got a 1 in 6 chance of that, or 1 in 5 chance of that. Then,
Can I just say,
Bum
as a
me
side
out.
note, you just mentioned the American Bachelor. Not to divert the attention away from TV3, but TV2 are showing Juan Pablo's season at the moment of the American
get
Bachelor.
on that. Get on
Great
that.
noise.
And I highly recommend watching that on a Saturday, probably afternoon.
It is amazing, right?
Yeah,
he's incredible.
It's a wonderful season.
It's
So
definitely an anomaly season. It's not like the normal stuff you would expect to see on the US Bachelor, but it's definitely worth a watch.
yeah. Anyway,
He is crazy. Okay, so I actually have written down here season 2 needs to up the game. I'm talking about engagements and marriages and so on. So that's a word to season 2. If you're listening, up your game.
Yeah, season 2, mythical
in
creature.
the future.
Pops confronts Danny. Okay, so Danny says, I didn't technically call you a liar.
In the same way that Poppy didn't technically
lie,
lie.
yeah.
You know,
Exactly.
that was perfect. That was perfect.
It's perfect. So anyway...
But there was also a little cutaway. I've got this line. I think maybe you have it written down as well.
I don't know.
Can we all just kiss him and be happy? Which is really saying, let's call the show off right now.
Yeah.
There's only 4 of us. There's plenty of art
I think
slips to go around.
I think Danny knows she's not probably going to win this thing, and so she's
trying
just
to
like
soil
she's
him
just,
as much as
she's just
possible.
like,
Yeah.
can we do a sister wives arrangement? Maybe.
Yeah.
All of us and
I'm
him.
cool with it.
Yeah.
She's
cool with
saying.
She'd be for like I think I saw JJ Feeney did a tweet today about how she thinks Danny is like the number one girlfriend in Girls of the Playboy Mansion kind of situation.
Right.
Like she'd be down for that kind of stuff.
Absolutely.
Where she almost becomes like the organizer, like the alpha female, but is extremely comfortable with the role.
Yeah,
Okay.
she's like the Holly.
Times of the essence, guys.
Those Girls of the Playboy Mansion fans.
She has a one-on-one time with. It would be ridiculous of her to try and kiss him again after that whole situation in the previous cocktail party. But he asks if he can kiss her, and she does. Fair enough.
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough.
It's all
right?
good.
The other girls would be mortified if they knew, but far out.
Yeah.
She's got to get. You got to get the time. She's got to get into Pashes while she can.
There's no time. And it
they
was
love
pouring
Passion.
with rain.
And he says like that's the thing that they do. He actually said earlier in the show.
That was amazing.
He said, I kind of like, there's no big deal. That's just what me and Danny do. It was like a giant insult, basically.
Well, it is, but it's also like, Passion's pretty fun.
Yeah, no, Passion's good. But I mean, in this situation, it's almost like there's nothing more to us than a bit of a kiss.
Yeah.
It's kind of doesn't mean anything.
Have we
Just
seen
kissing.
them-
Don't read too much into it. We just pash. No big. It's the kind of thing you might say to your partner in life when you've accidentally. Well, not accidentally kiss someone at a party or something like, it was just a pash. It's
I
just,
feel like we're getting a lot of information from inside Jane and Joel's relationship mansion.
No, of course not. I don't go to parties. Are you kidding me? That's my one outing a week.
That's a great point. But just quickly on that though, we did come to the conclusion that she couldn't be eliminated immediately post Pash.
No.
Like while
It's
your lips
impossible.
are still glittering from Danny, she's safe.
Yeah.
So as long as but there's no more cocktail parties.
No.
So she's done that twice in a row.
Yeah.
She'll find a way.
She did what she did while she could. And I tell you what, I guarantee that after that kiss, Art wiped his lips.
Like Drake style.
Like, well, probably. But like, he didn't want to get caught out another night at the cocktail party for having.
Well, because he thought maybe there was more action to come.
Maybe Art should just start wearing lip gloss and then no one will know.
You know, this is not Danny's lip gloss.
No, this is
we
mine.
just
It's
happened
Revlon.
to use
It's lovely.
the same
Hello.
Revlon strawberry lip gloss. Anyway, so then there is the cocktail party and Sayonara Crystal.
Yeah.
Gone burgers.
And she didn't...
Probably not gone for burgers, though.
No. Well played.
Thank you.
But probably not tennis, though.
And a very revealing moment in the limo, the Suzuki departure.
She didn't seem to care at all.
Did not care one iota, was glad to be out of the air.
Or was
Yeah,
was she possessed of an unholy fury of a woman scorned?
No.
I don't
That was
think
not
she
a
was
woman
even furious.
scorned.
It was just like
that
she
was a
was
woman who was
nothing.
like, oh, that was fun, kind
No,
of.
because
Actually,
just,
not really.
just before then, they obviously filmed after then, but by the way, she talked about how, she didn't want to leave and loved spending time with the girls, but the immediate aftermath, she had this like witchy vomit sayonara. I never want to be around those four women
No, I
again.
think what she was saying is I think she didn't mind she's having fun. I think she's having fun in the whole
Didn't like
process.
the cocktail parties.
Didn't like, it was just like that cocktail party. That's BS, that stuff.
It seems like a
great.
stressful situation.
Plus, remember,
bang
let's
in
not
Linda
forget-
with your mate.
Exactly. So she's like
hello,
high on
this
the
is
good
that's what
she's
we're
doing
doing.
exactly what we're
Yeah.
doing. Ricky's the Bachelor. Big reveal.
Yeah.
And,
That's what this has all been. the
we're
whole
down to the
time.
final three.
Okay, now we're actually well over time, but we've just got to press on with a few other little bits to discuss.
Some housekeeping.
Our surf 2-in-1 bonus moments. There was a quiz posted on the TV3 website, which Bachelorette are you, last week, and we all did the quiz, and now we find out which Bachelorettes.
And just before
Yeah.
we say that, if Linda don't come through, surf 2-in-1. I know you've been waiting there, sort of sobbing quietly in the corner,
Like Alicia.
Mike Poru style. We will take a 1 kilo box as sponsorship. That's the stage of the game we're at. From next week, if nothing comes through. Front loader. Come on, we're in.
What do you have, Alex?
I have a top
We're in the
loader.
fruit.
She's got a top loader.
But we're in the fruit fly zone here. You know, like it's top loader country. It's front loader country.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
I don't even know what is the difference.
You just moved houses. You
What
don't
is
even
it?
know what
Two
kind
ones.
of. You don't even know what kind
what is the
of
difference
washing machine you
between
have.
Oh my goodness.
Look, I
Front
don't know
loaders are
anything.
fancier.
I will
Okay.
coach you through
But
your
why does the
laundry.
detergent stuff have to be different?
She's like
You
Danny's
need
age. She
less
doesn't
bubble
know
in a front
anything.
loader. Less, you don't want so many suds that can go nuts.
I'm
Anyway.
just Danny with the fishing belt, and I just don't know.
Yeah.
Does
what
your
is coming
mum
out of
still
the-
do your laundry for you?
No, I do my own laundry, but I screw it up every week, so...
Yeah.
Surf 2 in 1.
Do you separate the colours and the whites? Oh,
I'll
my
tell you
God.
what. Okay.
Why the hell would you do that? It's all right, Ricky knows.
We're desperate
Shocking
for some
you put on your
Surf 2 in
shirts
1
the right way
sponsorship.
each
Anyway,
day.
here's our bonus moment, the quiz. Which Bachelorette are you? Duncan, which Bachelorette are you?
Matilda. Nailed it. The champ.
You are not Matilda.
I did the quiz. I came out as Matilda, and it was like a strong Matilda. I felt like I basically...
Did you
like,
bake that thing that was on the counter that we saw earlier?
No, but I am a great homemaker. Like, I restack the dishwasher after my wife stacks it.
Do you put the knives in a separate compartment to the forks to the spoons so that it makes it easy when you get them out?
I would defy anyone to, like, you. It's a faultless stack. Like, if you went through, like a master dishwasher stacker could look at my dishwasher and be, I'm sorry, there's nothing I can do. I don't know.
You're not Matilda, you're Monica from Friends.
I've actually been called Ross from Friends a lot, so that's actually a bit close to the bone. Anyway, I'm Matilda.
Okay.
I won, right?
You,
What do you mean you won?
Look, Matilda's the best one.
No, I don't think so. Who are you?
Okay, well, I did the quiz and I got Crystal.
I also got Crystal.
And
So
then-
I think we win,
Yeah.
honestly. Sayonara, bitches.
You're in a Suzuki going for a drive home from town.
Yeah, okay.
I don't think that's winning.
Okay, we won at life. You won to maybe be some guy's girlfriend, maybe.
I'm an account executive at MediaWorks. My wrist is
Are you
extra strong
Is she an
from
account
having heels.
executive? Is the
she
word
is.
executive?
She just got promoted.
I bet she did.
And by me
Oh.
on this podcast. No, I'm pretty sure she is in real life as well. Apparently she's a nice person. People I know her.
Do you know what? She reminds me of a friend of mine who I love dearly. I think because she's got nice person vibes.
Who's that? Name the friend.
My friend Sasha. Yeah, Sasha knows who she is. You know who you are, Sash. Anyway,
Sasha knows who she is.
yeah, she does.
So we're Crystal.
Well done,
We're
Sasha.
Crystal. We're Crystal.
we
What do you
have a
think?
semi-successful, what looks like freelance yoga situation.
I think I got Crystal because I put down that I like Japanese food.
And I like Tyler Swift.
I also like Tyler Swift.
So you guys are basically imbeciles.
Yeah, don't know how to spell.
But you've got Facebook. Like
How do you like these apples?
See you on the flip side.
Jesus, we've got to end the podcast there. That was too good.
Do we have to talk about anything else?
No.
Is that it? Okay.
That's it.
Thank goodness, because we're well over time. Hey, hope you guys enjoyed the podcast this week. It's just going off the rails week by week, and we are loving it. And it seems that you guys are too. We're getting more and more down. Tell your friends. Tell your mates.
Yeah.
Spread it around.
Send it to your mum.
Send it to your mum,
Put it on an
whoever.
audio cassette.
Do not send it to Art's mum, though, please.
No, she's coming on the podcast next week. We're going to do the family visits. We're just going to turn up, see how it goes.
That'd be so good. Hey, we're actually doing that, so make sure you tune in. It'll be brilliant. Okay. Thanks very much to Ricky for doing the soundy stuff.
And for bringing us little Lindauers halfway through.
Strange green bottles.
And also thank
Limited
you
edition.
to the spinoff.co.nz and to likebox.co.nz. We will see you next week in the Fantasy Suite. Don't forget, we're on Twitter, #TFS pod. Bye.
Talo for Lover. I'm Madeline Chapman, editor at The Spinoff. If you have the means, consider supporting our high-quality journalism by becoming a Spinoff member. Sign up now at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
Kia ora, I'm Duncan Greive, founder of The Spinoff. You can help us keep all of The Spinoff's award-winning journalism free for everybody by becoming a member today at thespinoff.co.nz/donate.
The Spin-off Podcast Network.